you have commented in the question box, then you are going to get a copy of today's recording. And I'll tell you in a little while how you can get a copy of today's slides. But make sure you find that question box because all of that magic happens there. Today we'll be talking about how you can improve your resume with practical strategies. And if you want to learn anything about what Google has to offer, go to google.com/grow for training and to be able to level up your skills. What you can do then is if you find training and topics that you're interested in, talk to the Google partner who invited you. They are right there for you and they really are vested in your success. They wouldn't have gone through the rigorous process of becoming a Google partner if they weren't wanting you to be successful and showing that they have the facilities and the resources to do that. So if you're tweeting or posting out, use the hashtag #GrowWithGoogle. It will let all of your friends know that you're improving your skills. It also lets the Google team know that you like this and you want to continue receiving more information like this and creating more. Of course, my name's Maria Elena Duron. And if you want to tag me, you can find me here on Twitter or Instagram. I'm actually on all the socials. You can find me on any one that you feel comfortable with and use most, but do know if you tag me on either one of these, I'll retweet, repost, share you in my story, and make sure that you get some visibility too, okay? So let's go ahead and dive in. As I said, if you want a copy of today's recording, you do have to comment in the question box. So it's really important that you find that question box. This is who I am. You see that closed captions are on right now. If you want them to stay on, please make sure you comment in that question box. Again, that's private, so you're not revealing anything to anybody, and it is something that no one else will see. I'm not going to comment on. I just need to know if those closed captions are helpful to you, because I do like to make sure that this is accessible to everyone and easy for you to consume the information. So let me know in the question box, okay? If not, I will turn them off, okay? Let's see. Absolutely, perfect. All right, letting me know that the captions are good and they're clear, wonderful, great, and they're helpful. I'm leaving them on then. Thank you everybody for the feedback, great, and glad you're finding the question box too. I will leave them on. Now do know, I get really excited and passionate about what I'm talking about. So sometimes with my West Texas drawl, those little, the captions may be a little bit off. Just please be patient with them and give me a little bit of grace because that's my natural style of who I am, okay? Just let me know to slow down. And absolutely, let me know to slow down in the question box. Absolutely, we absolutely want to be inclusive. So this is who I am. And let's go into our first question today that I want to ask you. Respond in the question box, okay? Is how much time do you think on average that a recruiter, an employer, a business owner actually spends, whoever's hiring, actually looking at a resume? Let me know in the question box. And awesome, Taylor, I see you found the question box. Rochelle, I see you here as well. Bradley, Mary, perfect. Awesome. Okay, we've got some minutes, some questions, I'm sorry, some responses. 2 minutes, 15 minutes. Keep the guesses coming. I would love to hear what you think. Depends on the resume. All right. Okay, somebody said 4 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. All right. Let me, okay, good. 3 minutes, 30 seconds. All right. Anybody else want to guess? 3 minutes, okay. It is 6 to 7 seconds. That's how much time people will look at a resume. Sometimes they'll go as far as 10, but the average is 6 to 7 seconds, okay? Right? That fast. So when you're looking at resumes, for example, I explained to you earlier or shared with you earlier that we hired a social media manager on Monday. When I first put out that we needed a social media manager, within 15 minutes on LinkedIn, we received over 114 resumes. I was looking at the resumes and I will tell you, it was the people who actually replied in the first 15 minutes. So timing is everything, right? Because then a whole bunch came in. We ended up with actually 700 plus resumes, and I never looked at anything past the 114 because That's just too many. And even with 114, it was like this. I mean, well, digitally. So I was just looking, clicking, just going quickly through it because I've got a full day's work too, as does everybody else on our team. We don't have time to spend in that. And if in 6 to 7 seconds, a resume does not just scream loudly, tell me more, I need to know more about this person, this candidate, then I'm going on to the next resume. If a resume is longer than 1 page, I'm also going on to the next resume. Now, do know that I have been in the world of business and it's been 30 plus years since I graduated from college. So I have a pretty hefty resume that I could create, but I'll talk to you today about what your resume is. It is not a or a chronological, I should say, or biography of what you've done. It is the highlight reel. And that is a mind shift that a lot of people have to have because they think it is the complete autobiography of everything that they've done in their work life or even their work and volunteer and their award life. And it is the highlight reel. So we'll talk today about a variety of resumes. We'll talk about the importance of timing, how that's everything. And so you have to be nimble and able to apply to resumes when the opportunity is available and you see it. Learning 4 strategies to improve your resume, and we'll also talk about how you can create a checklist of resume strategies. So we truly are going to be talking about practical things that you can take right now and put into practice to help your resume actually do more work and better work for you. Remember, the purpose of the resume is to not get the job. The resume will never get the job. I've never hired somebody just from reading a resume. Its job is to get the appointment, to get the call, to get the time with the decision maker when they're asking the questions. Tell me more about this. I'd like a little bit more details. It is to intrigue them. It is the highlight reel. So now we're going to do what's known as the resume challenge. And I love this part because it really gives you some good visuals on what works in a resume and what doesn't. And for yourself, I need you to focus on these for 6 to 7 seconds. I'm going to actually put my little timer on here. So let me get that up here on my phone because I want you to feel, actually my stopwatch is what I'm going to bring up. I want you to feel what 6 to 7 seconds sounds like. Now, I do want to give you some foundation to this, and this is the only time I'm going to read off the screen so that we're on the same page. But the job that the resumes that we're going to look at right now, and what it's for, is for a sales representative. So we're looking for, we seek a high performer to join our sales team. The successful candidate will be responsible, a motivated sales associate with proven experience. This person will manage the entire sales cycle, identifying sales needs, locating and expanding new markets, designing and delivering sales presentations, and presiding over negotiations. You will build and maintain expertise about a range of company products and services. Try to meet or exceed personal and departmental sales goals. You'll need excellent customer service goals, an entrepreneurial worldview, business acumen, and a professional sales philosophy. All right? So keep that in mind. That's the position that we're looking for. And now you, just like every recruiter, every business manager, decider, supervisor, you're going to have 6 to 7 seconds to make your decision. All right? So let's go. Let's look at the first resume. Ready? Everybody looking at the screen? Let's go. All right, stop. Let me know in the question box. Would you hire this person? Yes or no? Or would you have an interview with this person? Because no one's hired off of a resume. Nope. Okay, got some no's here. A lot of no's. Good, good, good. Let me know in the question box. No. For those of you just joining us, what we're doing, you need to find that question box because we're doing an exercise where we have a job description and now we are looking at actual resumes in the time that an actual recruiter or decision maker would look, which is about 6 to 7 seconds per resume. The resume's job is to get you the appointment, to get you that meeting with a decision maker who wants to say and has that question, tell me more. So wow, a resounding no. Everybody in the question box said no. Let's talk about this resume then, okay? Let's look and see what strengths Asha brought to the resume to actually create interest, or also what opportunities Asha missed, all right, since the whole group of us said no. So first of all, Asha has clear headings here, which is really nice. You've got to give yourself white space. I've looked at a lot of resumes where people just try to cram everything in because remember, they think their mindset is that this is an autobiography, a biography, a chronological order of all the work that I've done. And it is not, it's a highlight reel. It is to match the job description. So it's very customized for which job that you're actually applying for. So clear headings here makes it nice and easy to read, and a lot of white space. People forget that white space when we're reading gives us the opportunity to breathe and understand. A lot of decision makers are looking at things on a little 5.5-inch screen, so a 4.5-inch screen. So keep that in mind. They don't want to look at a lot of words. Who of us wants to look at a lot of words in a really small screen? So let's look at the opportunities now that are available on Asha's resume. Well, we need a relevant summary. This is what Asha had said: bookkeeping, public speaking, sales, childcare. So there's just a hodgepodge of different skills and experiences Asha has. Remember to customize the resume to the actual position. This will put you head and shoulders above everybody else. The decision maker needs to be able to see you in that position. How did they fit, or how did they, put that together and connect the dots for them of how this skill set actually applies to what they're looking for. We also see that her experience, again, is not tailored to this actual position. When you meet each other, now you can explain if there's any gaps. When you apply the application, that is where you put everything. That's the chronological order of your work history or even your volunteer history, because it's still you doing all the work being a volunteer. But know that the resume is the highlight reel, okay? So you need to tailor it to the position. And then, of course, you need to make sure you're looking at, is it easy to read, something that somebody could see quickly in 6 to 7 seconds. All right, I gave you a sneak peek because I was getting ahead of myself. Let me reset my stopwatch here. All right, everybody, 6 to 7 seconds. I need to see a yes or no in the question box whether you would interview this person. Stop. All right, yes or no? I see no's again. Ooh, we're not doing well with our prospects right now. Lots of no's. No, no, no. Okay, no. Lots of no's. It seems to be a unanimous, resounding no. Let's look at the strengths. The good thing that Adam did is Adam shared the skills right here, skills and accomplishments, which is really nice. It picks it out. It's really hard when you think about it, 6 to 7 seconds to read paragraphs, isn't it? It's nice when somebody can bullet point and show, these are the skills that I have. Now, does that apply to what he's doing? Maybe or maybe not. Not sure that we need to talk about JavaScript or Python or anything like that being a sales representative. But unless you're a sales representative for a computer company, or a tech company or a software company. So it could be that that's what this company is. We don't really know yet. Then the opportunities that Asha has missed, though, is taking a look at, for example, the roles and responsibilities. He's just putting the title of the positions that he's had at business. When you've just put the title, what you've done is you are now subject to the filter, the background experience somebody had with that title. And it may or may not have been a good experience. For example, when I say to you, if I were to walk in fresh to a room and we were meeting each other for the first time and I said, hi, Maria, and I'm with the IRS, you're going to have some feelings. I've seen faces change whenever I do that actual presentation experience and say that from the front of the room. It's just the whole room. You can see it. It's like a wave. So also the same thing happens when you're looking at a resume. If you're going by a position title, it's whatever that person's experience is with that title that now you have put that baggage on your resume. If it's good or bad, you do need to explain and help connect those dots and let them know what is it that you did that was important or that was something that you learned or you mastered at each of these roles. The picture looks blurry. Oh, Brad, it could be that it's the internet may not be playing friendly with us. Unfortunately, I don't control the internet. Print on resume is fuzzy. Oh, yes, the print on resume is fuzzy. So also consider what fonts you're using too, because remember, people need to read this, and how big a font are you using? I encourage people to use at least a 12 or 14 point font, but I've seen people try to cram everything in and use a 10 point or an 8-point font, okay? So keep that in mind too. Remember, a lot of people are looking at this on a small screen. Keep the experience and the details consistent too. Does this apply to what this position is? Remember, we're looking for a sales rep, right? So great comments, everybody. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, your feedback. I love this. Let's go on to the next resume. Again, you've got 6 to 7 seconds. Ready? Go. All right, stop. Yes or no? Would you interview? Titus? No. Okay, we're getting some yeses this time. We are getting some yeses. So we've got 2 solid no's candidates, but we've got now, we're kind of split. Yes and no. What do you feel from your gut? Because I'll tell you, this is how decision makers do it, from their gut, because phone calls are coming in, there's little pings coming in through Slack, they're getting text messages, they're very distracted. That's all you've got. All right, still split. Okay, so let's look at the strengths. Simple, readable. I like that. Look at that, really nice and bold, easy to pick out each section of his resume. So that's good. But now let's talk about the opportunities that he may have missed. One is that here in the US, unless we've asked you for a photo, you probably won't include a photo. Now, do know in Europe and in Asia, it is very common and considered not good if you don't include a photo. So they're expecting a photo, but the photo they're expecting is a very professional photo. This may be the photo profile of your Instagram profile, but not what you're going to use for your resume. So remember to keep it nice and professional, but don't include one if you don't need to. And then as we look through, we'll also see he's got a typo here. Remember, this is the highlight reel. This is your best work, this resume. So if your best work is that you're fine with sending a decision maker something with typos, then are you going to be fine just making mistakes like that okay with our customers, with our team members? Why would I even want to consider somebody that this is their best of the best work? We know that when people are submitting their resumes, even with that first interview and really the first few weeks of work, you really are on your best behavior. We always say that people can stand on their toes for a certain amount of time, but whoever they really are reveals as soon as they get tired or hungry, okay? So that's what you know when you are making decisions as a decision maker, or even a recruiter or manager. So look at that. Typos are something that will be an immediate strike. I would not even go further on this resume if I saw a typo. Also, avoid those distracting fonts and colors. You want to stay at the most 2 fonts, no more than 2 fonts, right? So don't get creative here unless you need to. Now, if the sales rep was a creative art director, maybe a little bit different, but even then it's not easy to read. And then also with the colors too, keep to at most 2 colors. 1 color is better, but 2 colors is, you can pull that off, especially if you want to get a little bit creative, but no more than that, because it can become really distracting. No emojis, no little graphics, no flashing anything, okay? All right, so I do have more leaning towards the yes for Titus. So Titus did a lot better. Let's see this next resume. 6 to 7 seconds, ready, go. All right, stop. Yes or no? Ooh, that one a lot of no's. There's a perfect example of a resume. I gave you a headache, I hear you. Too busy. That's a perfect example of someone creating a resume and wanting to cram all of their experience in the resume, because in their mind, they believe the resume is the biography of their work life. And it is not. It is the highlight reel. If you walk away with anything today, I hope you walk away with that mindset, thought, and try to make that shift that this is not a biography. Your application is that. This is the highlight reel. You'll hear me say that several times, because that's where I see people lose on the resume. Any resume that looks like this, 2 or 3 pages, it's done. I've even recruited and worked on school boards. So I've been on the actual school board and looked and recruited for a superintendent with years, decades of experience, and never looked. None of us ever looked past the first page. Okay? So appropriate font, this is really important. Make sure it's nice, easy to read font. So he did use nice, easy to read font, but here's where he missed opportunities here. Jason should have put more white space. I mean, we're seeing it, I'm seeing it in the question box. If you all could see just however that just drove everybody crazy to take a look at this. Also, remove irrelevant experience. This is not the biography of your work. So this does not match the sales rep position. And then do not put what you don't need to put. You don't need to put your website, your Instagram, your Twitter account, unless you were asked to provide that. Provide that on the application, but not here, not for the sales rep. I didn't see anything about you need to be on social media, very active, posting, community management, community engagement, social analytics. I didn't see anything of that in the actual job description, so no need for that. Eliminate crowded text. So this doesn't work either. The 2-column newsletter days are even gone. So it's really tough to see a 2-column resume. This is super messy, okay? Now let's go to the next one. You've got 6 to 7 seconds. So let me go ahead and reset my stopwatch. Ready? Go. Stop. Yes or no to interview this person? Okay, I see some yeses here. Ooh, a bunch of yeses, okay. Yeses, some yeses, all right. So let's look at the strengths of this resume because it did get a lot of yeses, but ooh, yes, but the font was hard to read. Good call, because the strength is that Leanna had a very detailed resume summary. It's really nice how she connected the dots between what the person or the employer wanted or the business and what she had to offer. So nice that she did that. Nice to be able to position in the mind for that decision maker that you are a good fit for what they're looking for. She also gave specific examples and measurable details. Oh, this is really key. I could say I train a lot of people, and a lot to me could be 2 people, right? That's much different skill set than I train a lot of people. I normally will talk to a room of anywhere from 6,000 to 7,000 people. Whoa, that takes a different skill set, right? It's a different thing if you say I've been training employees and you've only trained employees, 1 employee you train for 1 month, compared to I've trained employees and you say I've trained 15 employees who met and exceeded all of their sales goals over 8 years of different experience, from the new sales rep to the very experienced sales rep. There's a lot of experience that comes across in just that statement because you have some measurables in there too and some details, putting a little bit more behind that position and what you did opposed to what somebody is filtering and thinking that you did from their experience. So let's see where Leanna missed and where she can improve upon. She can improve upon getting a clear, legible font. Good call, very call. What if they're just out of school and do not have much work experience related to the job? Absolutely, if they don't have much work experience, think about your volunteer experience as well. You're still the same person, right? We have several roles. In fact, Stephen Covey says we have at least 7 roles in our life. And you can pull from all of those in your life experience. Even though you're 21, you're 18 years old, you still have life experience. So share what that is. All right, and we'll talk more about how you can do that in just a little bit, but a great question. So choose a clear, legible font. Love that you're asking questions in the question box. And combine positions, because she did separate that she was a business analyst with Deloitte in Las Vegas, and then she became a senior business analyst. She could have put those together to show really clearly that she climbed the ranks within the company, which does show also some good skill set and that you are promotable and somebody who could fit in and adjust, okay? All right, let's look at this resume. 6 to 7 seconds. Ready? Go. Stop. Would you interview Ibrahim? Yes or no? No. Yes, no? Yes? No, no, no. Okay. Seeing some feedback there, so a little split on this one. So let's talk about what Ibrahim did right. Ibrahim did use a more professional photo than Titus did. Again, in the US, if we haven't asked for the photo, don't provide the photo. But if you are in Europe or Asia especially, it's very much expected there. The other strength is it's nice and clean layout. Even though it's a colored layout, it has some white space. It does speak nicely to Ibrahim's experience as a graphic and web designer. So it is giving a little bit of creativity there. Not quite matching the sales rep position, but does show the creativity and the speciality that he does bring to the position if we were to hire him. So let's look at the opportunities though and where he missed. You got to proofread, everybody. Remember, this is your best work. We're expecting this, that you're on your tippy toes right now. Let's see. But he's a graphic designer, so this shows some of his skills. Absolutely, it really does. I agree. Right. Missing summary. Missing the summary, agree. And the objective, yes, yes, missing that as well. So let's talk about the resume mistakes and really talk about how you can not be the one to make those, okay? And we saw in the resumes, thanks for playing with me, by the way, because I know a lot of times just seeing that gives you a good feel of what that 6 to 7 looks like and what you can actually pick up in that short amount of time. So in the resume, the mistakes that we see is sparse or not enough information, which you were asking about, even if you haven't had a lot of job experience. So I will cover that in just a moment. Or it's overloaded. And then maybe you're getting way too creative in there. Ibrahim actually did a great job as a graphic designer showing his creativity without being like Titus, where it was too many colors and too many different fonts. So he did it in a nice professional manner. He would really, really fit if we were looking for somebody who's a sales rep who could also become a creative director. Jason really messed up with his crowding, so we have to keep that in mind too. And we also don't want to be like Titus, like we talked about, with all those, kind of bright colors, that bright green. If somebody is colorblind, some of this could be hard to read too, to pick up. So keep that in mind. You don't know who is reading and looking through your resume. Then also remember, look at typos. You see this here. Really keep this your best work, because this is it. It's the highlight reel. All right. So for you, what you can do now to improve your resume is choose that professional format. Make sure it is resounding to everybody that you know what you're doing and you are showing and highlighting exactly your skills and accomplishments. Provide examples too, something that's measurable. Really give that detail in there for the positions that match or the volunteer roles that match this position, and now tailor that to the job description. So let's talk about the professional resume, the professional format. We saw a bit there when we saw the traditional. Asha used the traditional. Ibrahim was a little bit more creative. We also see in a professional resume, we want to keep a lot of white space. We need to keep the margins there. We have to have it simple and readable language. It's not because people are stupid, it's because it's this fast, everyone. Clear headings and a good font, again, that's nice, easy to read, okay? Now, what you can do is you can use Google Tools, and I'm not selling you anything here today, but a lot of people don't realize in their personal Gmail accounts, so not even the paid Gmail workspace or Google Workspace, but in their free Gmail account, which many people have, that they already have access to the tools that they need to make a resume. So you may not know it, but within Google Tools, there's Google Drive where you can save everything that you need. You don't even have to have a program on the computer to open it. It's a nice place where you can share information that's a shared drive, kind of like Dropbox. Easy to share though, because you can share it by email or you can share it by using a link, and anybody with the link, or you can set the appropriate level of visibility or the ability to edit or comment with that link. But you'll see in the animation here, it's showing you how to use Google Docs, which that works just like Word. Google Sheets works just like Excel, and Google Slides works just like PowerPoint, and that's 100% free with any of the the Gmail accounts, free Gmail accounts, or free Google account. And also know there's a free template gallery there too. So you see that animation going to the template gallery, and there's a lot of professional layouts already there of resumes. In fact, let me show you that real quick, because sometimes the animation is a little bit small. Let me make that a little bit bigger here. My live screen. If the internet is playing friendly with us, we'll get this done. Let me make that bigger. So when you're in Gmail, you'll go here up to the app keypad. You'll look for Google Drive. I like to tell people to go here first, even though you can go to Google Docs and Google Sheets from your Gmail account, but a lot of people then when they do that, they don't know where it saved it. So I like to send people to Google Drive first, so you know exactly where it's going to show up. You can click New like the animation showed us. You're going to go to Google Docs. You're going to say from a template. And now you'll see, that's super tiny. I'll make it bigger since we're broadcasting. You will see you have a host of resumes there that are free to use. Once you click on them, it brings it into your Google Drive. So it doesn't change the gallery. It does bring it into your Google Drive. You have letters there, so you can do cover letters. There's just a whole lot of different free templates already laid out for you, and you just have to go in and personalize it for you. So let's say we're going to do a resume like Asha, so I could click on this, and you see it'll populate the screen now and bring it into Google Drive. And there is no save button here because Google Drive automatically saves no matter what you're doing. And you can always go back to the version history of your resume, okay? So this is really nice with a resume because you can make your way around and save several copies. Remember what I said about you customizing your resume? So let's say you have a basic resume layout, but you're looking for a sales rep, and maybe in the next position, it's a marketing director. So I want to keep some of the core information, but I want to tweak and change some of it to match the job description. So I might just make a copy of my resume, make a copy, and then I can say this is my, oops, if I could type here, marketing, there we go. Director, that's the marketing director resume. And if I want to file it, I can click on my drive and I can file it on my drive, and I can take it to my resume folder because that's where I want it to be, and it's a marketing resume, and I can select and save it there. I can say, okay, it'll open up another tab, and now I have an exact copy of it that I can customize for a marketing director. Remember what I said earlier about time is of the essence? It's really hard when you have to create a resume from scratch every single time. You lose a lot of valuable time and a lot of energy because you start trying to find people's phone numbers for references or wondering what the different dates are of different positions. I do encourage you to have at least one doc that is a actual list of all your positions and all your volunteer positions. So you can go and harvest from that list anytime. You can just copy and paste what's relevant for a position as you customize your resume. So just do a brain dump and put all of that together one time, and then you don't have to do it every single time. That makes you able to respond so quickly when you see an opportunity come up. Now in your resume also, you need to highlight your skills and accomplishments too. Now think about that for a minute. When you highlight those skills, you want to include recent work experience or volunteer experience too, and part-time jobs, but not jobs that don't actually match the position. Remember, highlight reel. So for this challenge, I want you to take a look at this and look at the sales rep. That's the same description we were working with before, but think about that. If you were a wait person, if you were a cashier, if you had volunteer work, you know, because I know some people, maybe there's somebody who volunteered in school with a 4-H. Maybe you volunteered as a resident assistant at the college dorm. Maybe you volunteered with the with the soccer team. You were on the soccer team, you actually played, or you volunteered. Maybe you were helping with the support team, okay, the management team. Maybe you're a bank teller, a babysitter even, or you've done some freelance helping out. A lot of people I know, even who are just graduating from high school, actually have done a lot of freelancing social work with a lot of companies who feel like that one of the criteria of doing social management, social media management, is you've got to be young. That is actually a myth, but it's something that I see a lot of people saying, oh, I have to go to a young person who uses social to be able to have them manage this. So think about all the different things that somebody may have done, whether they actually did it for pay or for experience. And now, how does that match? Well, first, a wait staff has identified upsell opportunities. That's what works for a sales rep. You need to see, hey, you want that? Do you want fries with that? So now you have the opportunity as a wait staff person to say, I'm used to upselling. That was part of what I had to do. As a cashier, I asked the question of customers. I made them feel comfortable. I wanted their last impression with our business to be very good and say, how did you enjoy everything? Did you find everything okay? Volunteer work, maybe you raised funds from area businesses, so you know everybody in town. You may not have ever worked for everybody in town, but they will at least take a call from you, or they would recognize you right away if you walked into their building. A bank teller, you actually know your product expertise, so that's how you can connect the dots between that position and this position here. Babysitting, you have showcased responsibility. You followed a schedule. You've been able to take management and take leadership, especially if you've actually managed and worked with a lot of children or several family members or even older kids. And then freelance blogging, well, you've negotiated prices. You have that experience. So you could pull all of those out to be able to match that sales rep position and put those on your resume. Now you heard me talk about digital documents. Remember I said that with the resume here. I'm going to go back to the live demo, and let's say I'm going to go back here. I'm just going to close all that out, and let's say I'm going to go new Google Docs, and I just want a blank doc. So I want a blank Google Doc, and I'm going to call this Maria's Work History. So this is just for my eyes only. And then I'm going to say I want 12-point font, and now I can start typing. Marketing Director, and I can put every position that I had here. And now when you have an opportunity and you think, oh, my experience is this and this and this really fit, and this one kind of fits, but I can customize it. So you're going to copy and paste these into the resume and then make sure it lays out nicely and really make it nice to share, focused, and showing to that recruiter or to the business decision maker that you are a good fit for this position and they need to know more. They need to have an appointment with you or talk to you, okay? Now, the big thing here is when you do a resume, and I know this is, I was talking about the work history here, but when you're to the actual resume part and you're doing a resume. So let's go back again to that. From a template, bigger. Oh no, we're good, still good. So from a template, when you do share a resume, let's say you're uploading it digitally to apply or to add to your application. This is really key. Spend time looking at it. Remember, you want good white space, good layout, because that shows your work ethic when you've taken the time to lay something out nicely. But what's wrong is a lot of people will send their resume in Word format. And so, because you can download, see this? You can download it in Word format. But what happens then is, let's say you're using the margins of 1 inch on each side and then a 1/2 inch on the top and bottom. And the person receiving the Word document has a 1/2 inch on each side and 1 inch on top and bottom. What happens then is the person seeing it sees broken sentences, white space at different places. It looks like a jumbled mess, and it looks like you didn't take time and even have the courtesy or care to make sure that it visually looks nice. While you did, but you sent it in a Word document, so it adjusts to whatever the settings are of the person receiving it. It's better when you are sending a resume to download it in PDF format. So that's PDF, portable document format. Because what that does, it preserves the integrity and the layout of the document just as you laid it out. It keeps it perfect like that. Plus it's nice, clean. It doesn't take a lot of space in an email attachment if you're emailing it or if you're uploading it. And it really is showcasing what you've done and not altering it in any way. Make sense to everybody? All right, let me see. Before I leave here, I am going to look at questions real quick. And remember, if you want a copy of today's slides or if you want a copy of the recording, make sure you comment in the question box. Let's see, what if you don't have prior jobs that highlight what I need in the new job? I've been a teacher for 20 years and now I'm transitioning into wanting to explore a different career path. I struggled to make my experience match the new positions I was applying for. Well, let's think about that. If you were applying for a sales rep as a teacher, you've managed large groups of people, you've organized things. So think about what skill sets, and really I'll show you in a minute when we go back to this. Remind me, because I will show you how to highlight, look for keywords in a actual job description, and make sure you're pulling those out in what you put on the resume. Okay, so we'll do that in just a couple of minutes. So we do want to cite examples, but great question here. Oh, absolutely. I'm glad it was a good tip on the PDF. I bet that's what you were talking about, because I see a lot of people mess up with that. All right, now we want to cite measurable examples. So if we look at Asha's resume here, we see the specific projects that Asha's been involved with. And we see some details behind that. Coordinated schedule for a team of 4 volunteers. So not just 1 volunteer, but 4 volunteers. But Asha could have even gone a little bit deeper. So let's talk about how Asha could have done that. Asha was a research assistant at Orange County Public District. So she talked about how she worked on a grant proposal, presented research because she wanted to purchase something, also wanted to be a part of a convention, and she had to prove to her supervisors. And then she also researched supervising instruction over somebody. So she helped mentor some teaching assistants as well. So let's look at this. For example, if you are a team lead, you can bring out all of these 4 things that you did. But what you can even do to really make your resume pop is putting that measurable detail in. Take a look at that same information, now put in measurable terms, not relying on the experience of the decision maker to explain and fill in the gaps for you. All right, so here's some details. 8 employees, 15 employees in 2 years, weekly meetings. That's much different than once a year meetings. And then also individual sales target not only met it and exceeded it, but did that company-wide too. Think of this, for example. Let's say you volunteered, you served meals to a shelter residents, and maybe you organized holiday events. But what if you went into a little bit more detail and said you served meals to over 200 shelter residents? And not only that, you obtained 2,000 from local businesses and prepared over 200 pounds of fresh food. That shows a lot of coordination and organization, which is good because a sales rep, when you're dealing with and managing a sales territory, you better be organized. You better have some processes and be able to put processes and systems together. So how you can tailor your actually resume to the job when you're looking at the job description, because that's the fourth practical strategy, is start really reading those job descriptions and highlighting or paying attention to and noting down the words that really do apply. For example, when we're using keywords, these are words that you know and you see that are what the employer or the decision maker is looking for. Take a look at this when we highlight this. They want somebody who is managed, who can identify, who can locate and expand new markets, good at designing and delivering sales presentations. So maybe Abraham would have worked a little bit with his graphic design. I forgot about that part of the job description. Presiding over negotiations, build and maintain expertise, meet or exceed expertise. So keep that in mind. So for example, let's say my background was in teaching. That's all I had. And I want to say, have I managed anything? Well, yes, I've managed a class schedule. I've managed a lesson plan book. I've managed a team of people. I've managed people below me and above me. So I've managed up across. So there's, it's called managing up and managing down. I've done both because I was not the superintendent or the president of the school board. So I've had to do a lot of that. I've negotiated with and worked with volunteers too, because parents are always volunteers, people from the community. I've identified needs. So if there was a need in the classroom, I went to go buy it. I identified where the deficits are, identified when somebody needed additional help or maybe some coaching or supervision or counseling. Located and expanded new markets. We were fundraising because we always were looking for funds to be able to help either with the school, put in different equipment, or in the classroom because we wanted to do this special project. So I designed and delivered presentations to our local community volunteers and even reached out to new community members to help support our classroom. And of course, negotiated whenever they wanted to come in and help support. Maybe even the junior achievement group wanted to come in. I negotiated with them what is the best lesson plans for them to cover during that time, and built and maintained my expertise because I had to keep my CEUs going, my continuing education units. And then also I always had personal and departmental goals. We did annual reviews, so I knew where I stood. I knew exactly what my next goals were. I was good at setting my goals and setting my quarterly goals. Does that make sense? Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for giving me your position and where your thoughts were as an example. That's always helpful. See, the question box, like I tell you, I customize everything. All right. So yes, you will get a copy of today's slides and a copy of the recording of this in your inbox tomorrow, though, because it does take a little bit for the recording to render, but because you've commented in the question box here, you will get it. So you don't even have to put your email address because it's picking it up from what you registered with. So to review, we talked about a professional format. This is really important. Highlight your skills and accomplishments, all right? What matches? Highlight reels, everybody. Cite specific examples, make them measurable. Don't even take any chance in relying on that person's personal experience with that title. Explain it out and really give examples of how you mastered that or did that well. And then of course, tailor that resume. Really put it out, look at your job descriptions and pull out the words, those keywords that people need. The first thing I ask you to do is to do a list, because a lot of times this is where we get held up. I see people lose a lot of opportunity because they take hours and days to find all of their background history. Just sit down one time or several times, but plan to do it before you start the job search heavy and start looking at this, because what happens next is if you've got this sheet, you can go to it and pull from it all the time. Again, you don't have to recreate the wheel. A lot of times what slows us down is disorganization and then the emotion when we find something and go, oh, I remember when I worked with so-and-so, and now we're off down another rabbit trail. Now, once you do that, you can use Google Sheets. Remember I said they work like Excel, and you can do things like when you're job searching, you can start organizing your job search. So I encourage people to use what we call the Discovery Center, so the kindergarten room layout, whenever they're doing their job search. So you have all your work history in one place and all the explanation of that work history. And then you keep an Excel spreadsheet for when you are hunting for work. So you start looking, let's say this morning I might look and I write down all the positions I like. So I have the spreadsheet, which is my job search plan, and I put all the positions that really interested me. I put the name of the company, the site, I put a link to the site so I can find it right away. I can put whether or not I've actually applied, so I could put progress. But what's even nicer is I can add another column in here, and I could put the link to the copy of the resume that I used for this, because maybe I used a different one for retail zone specialist compared to stock associate. So I don't want to forget which one I sent them, and I will have all of that right there, because whenever I'm doing and the opportunity and the call or the email comes in, we need to talk to you about and tell you to tell us more. Now I can be right back on the same page with them. So again, that's like Discovery Center, 5-year-old kindergarten room, because now you have the music center all in one place, the reading center, the art center, because it makes it easy to find things and put things away. On average, the National Association of Professional Organizers says between physical and digital files, on average, we lose 15 minutes every single day. And I actually think it's more, because I've looked like a stubborn person for something that I know existed. And because we do that 15 minutes a day in the course of the year, ends up to be 10 days, 5 work days each day, 10 days of time that you spend looking in the course of a year. Imagine if you got 10 days of time back, free time that you can use however you like. Plus imagine all the missed opportunity costs because you had to put all of this together piece by piece. It's really hard when we have to go from searching to now applying to now writing a resume, now to organize the resume. That's a lot of gear shifting and different skill sets. I try to do everything together and compartmentalize it, because when the opportunity strikes, I'm ready. I have this, I've looked at the job, I've got the link to the resume that works really well. I'm ready to apply. Oh, they want my work history or they want the last 5 years. Okay, I can do that, copy and paste. I'm ready to go. Everything is right there at my fingertips, which now increases the opportunity that I have to be seen. Because a lot of people, decision makers, like I started our actual webinar together, will make the decision within the first 15 minutes and pull the resumes that actually show up from then, just like I was explaining to you. So you can also use Google Sheets. So let me show you that real quick. Oops, let me see, I misplaced there it is. All right, to get to Google Sheets, it's the same thing when you're in your Gmail account. And remember what I said, you don't have to have a Gmail account, you might have a Google account. Let me show you what it looks like. When you come in your Google account, you'll set that up by going to google.com/accounts. So you won't see an inbox like you do see in Gmail. You'll see this when you log into your free Google account, but you'll see the app keypad is right here, and you can still get to Google Drive there because every free account has that with them, okay? So when you click on Drive, you're gonna click on New, you're gonna say Sheets, and you'll say blank spreadsheet. So this is just bringing you a blank spreadsheet that you can customize any way that you'd like, and you'll find a copy of it. When you go back to Drive, it'll be here in your Drive, or you can file it like I showed you a moment ago. You can say Maria's, and then saves it, saved. I can move it now into my resume folder, let's say, if I want to do that. Okay? Helpful? Now, if you want to create a portfolio, you can use Google Slides. Let's say you really want to showcase your creativity, you can use Google Slides to do that. Google Slides works just like PowerPoint. I'll show you that here too. Again, let me close these out so we don't slow down our bandwidth. We go into Drive, click New, click Google Slides, and I'm going to say from this one, from a template, you've got the free template gallery. Oops, it's already big. Good, good, good. You can go here and let's say you want to do a pitch. You can choose that one. It's free. It populates it within your Drive. You can choose if you don't like that theme, you want another theme. If you want to add pages in, let's say I want to add a page, so I can do that. I can change the background. I can change the theme. I can do a lot of different things here, okay? I can also present it if I wanted to in a slideshow. I'm not going to do that now because I'm using another webinar platform, but I can also download it as a PDF, portable document format, because we want to preserve the integrity of what you spent so hard laying out and organizing. All right, let's see. Now we've got some questions here. These are the next steps because I'm a true fan of applying what you learn. There is a myth out there that knowledge is power. And the reason I believe it's a myth is because I know a lot of people who are super knowledgeable. They've got the factoids and the trivia in their head, but they don't know how to apply it. Applied knowledge is power. And you just spent an hour of your day. Instead of spending it, invest it by taking something that you learned today and applying it. And I'd love to know in the question box, what was your aha moment, or what's the one thing you'll add to your to-do list to apply? Because my friend Jo, she really says it best when she says, knowledge is knowing that the tomato is a fruit, but applied knowledge is knowing to not put it in the fruit salad. So let me see what your questions are. All right, you love the examples. I really like the job search plan. Yes, it's so more helpful to keep it organized because now you save yourself significant time, energy, and money to be able to find things, because sometimes you'll lose that opportunity, and that's money, right? If you lose the opportunity. That also is an acronym. So you know, Rochelle, it's SYSTEM. SYSTEM stands for save yourself significant time, energy, and money, okay? Save yourself significant time, energy, and money. I need to start keeping a list. Yes, I agree. Start keeping a list because it makes it so much easier. Just imagine, I've done that. In fact, I used to lead resume writing skills back when I first, actually right after I graduated from college. I went to work for the Texas Workforce Commission, and I would work with people who'd been laid off, who never had to put a resume together, had a tremendous amount of experience and skill, but they've never done that before. And so now they had to, and I taught them how to create and write resumes. And I found that this is the best way to do that. Just put that list together, because there's a lot of emotion and time lost when you have to do this all step by step for every single application or position that you want. And also use this as a checklist if you want to do a screenshot of this so you can apply what you learned today. But I'd love to know exactly what you're going to apply. And as always, you can go to google.com/grow with your teacher, student, local business, a job seeker, a developer, whatever you are doing and need, go there and find the topics that are of interest to you, and you can reach out to the Google partner who invited you, and they have access to this, and they can either teach you, train themselves, reach out to the Google team themselves, or call me and let me know that they want me to come back and train again. All right, but we can make sure that you're taken care of and that your success is supported. So let me see here. I need to start keeping a list to begin. Absolutely. Anybody else want to give a shout out before we finish up? We're 2 minutes before the end of time, but do you want to say exactly what you're going to work on, or do you want to ask any questions? I'm here for you if you have any questions at all. All right. No questions? We're all good? Was this helpful to you? Was there something meaningful that you got from it? And was I helpful to you? Okay, thank you. I'm glad that you liked the examples. I'm so glad that the closed caption was helpful to you too. Great feedback, everybody. Awesome, I'm so glad. And thank you for giving me your position to play with as an example, because that really is helpful, and I hope I was helpful to you. Great, perfect. I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Karen, Shantisa, Rochelle, thank you. Thank you so much. Marla, Shamila, thank you. I even learned something today and even thought I knew how to attract employees. Perfect. Awesome. I'm so glad. Helpful. Oh, Mary, I'm glad it was helpful to you. I'm pumped up to check out more webinars. Perfect. Perfect. I'm so glad. Everybody, thank you for your feedback. Again, we are 1 minute before time. If you've got questions, I will hang out here. But if you need to go, please reach out to your Google partner. Remember, they have all the access and they're there to support you. And if they need me to come back, we need to do this again, or another topic about how to job search better and more effectively, maybe how to work remotely, how to interview remotely. There's lots of webinars that we have available about that, or training topics. Please reach out to your Google partner. We're happy to come back again, and I'd love to see you and have a wonderful rest of your January, right? We are at the last Thursday of the month. Can you believe it? We're off and running with 2022. I wish you much success and a lot of professional success for you to get whatever it is that you want. And let me see. Oh, I'm so glad. I really do want to be helpful to you, and I do love to hear from you too. So if you want to share with me exactly your successes that you had, I love to celebrate and do virtual dances with you too. So virtual celebrations are my happy spot, but also if you have questions, reach out to your Google partner. It's not that I don't want to hear your questions, but I'm usually in webinar and it could be 2 or 3 days before I respond to you. And I really don't want you to wait when you've got somebody right there who can help you. Okay. Thank you to everybody. Thank you very much. We will see you at the next webinar. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Ooh, well, let me stop the recording.